Well, Phoenix is declining. Now, I've been talking about this fact that Phoenix Investments, which is what we are, we're in that affordable homing space, has declined 15% since the peak. 15%, that's a lot of money. So if you'd have bought right after we said stop buying, you're underwater and you're losing money. Now, that's my job. My job is to make sure that you don't lose money. So I'm telling you right now that I can see the end of the tunnel. Yes, indeed, I can see where we're going to start to bottom out, and it's coming. Now, around the country, there's been some real problems. Florida's in trouble, way overbuilt. Texas, way overbuilt. Lots of places, maybe North Carolina and Tennessee, and things are overbuilt. And in Phoenix here, we're a little bit overbuilt, but I'm going to go through and just tell you what we have going on here. It's just pretty amazing. I've been saying the fact that Phoenix is not immune, and we're down 15%. Now, I'm anticipating it's going to go down a little bit more, but then it's going to bottom. And you guys are going to be scared to death. You're going to say, oh my God, I'm never buying any more real estate again in my life. If you want to get rich, that's what you got to do. Now, this is the third one I've seen. So I'm going to tell you, this is where generational wealth is made. This is where if you don't have enough in your retirement account to retire, you got an opportunity to do this. Doesn't come about but every 18 years, and it's a cycle. Now, I'm in my 70s. I was never a cycle guy, never. Then I started interviewing Charles Nenner. Everything's a cycle. Literally, everything is a cycle. If you can see the cycle, you can make money. So I've developed a real estate timing model. I've told you about this for a long, long time. It peaked in 2022. We saw it go up like a rocket and then stop going up. That was a red flag for us. So I didn't know if it was just a pause. It was going to come down and go back up. And at that point, I said, we need to stop buying for at least 90 days so we can see what's going on. And it was the peak. It was coincidental. The cycle for liquidity peaked at the same time. You can see two cycles. This is Charles Nenner, by the way. I mean, he's the one that put me onto this. My cycle, my charts, my timing model. But Charles's work, he really helped me with this. I have talked with him I consider him a friend of mine. I've talked with him for 15 or 20 years, and I've watched him make amazing calls. And it's been truly, truly amazing. So let me go to my very first thing. Let me open this up a little bit for you. Now, city of Phoenix, probably one of the best markets in the world, literally in the world. There is so much going on here. It is incredible. But we're going down our investment properties. Remember, we are in that affordable home space, and that group is affected by rates, not the luxury home where you have a lot of people are paying cash, and then you have safe harbors. These are people who actually use this, and this is what we rent. This is the space that we're in because we always have rentals. Now, my portfolio is 100% occupied. And remember, we talked about 2 years ago about making sure we are maximizing the tenant, not maximizing the rent, because we anticipated this coming. There's a slowdown that's going on now, and we want to keep our cash flow because we live by the cash flow. We are income investors. But in Phoenix, it's just unbelievable. Now, we are right next to California. Now, there's terrible problems in California, that bad governance. And you've got this really terrible problem with the fires. A lot of people are going to leave California. They're going to come here. And we've got an exodus of people leaving California, coming here. Let me go to my next slide. Let me just tell you what's going on here so we can take a look at this. So now the Wall Street Journal did a documentary on the 17-mile stretch of Arizona called the 303. It has absolutely positively exploded. You can't get a logistics hub or a pad along this 303 at all. And of course, what's happening is that you can warehouse and distribute and work from Arizona for 30 to 50% of what it costs in California. And you can add Texas to this and even expand your distribution. And consequently, we've got Wolf Sub-Zero just opened up here. Amazon's here, Dick's Sporting, UPS, Ball, Red Bull. It just goes on and on and on. We have 40 warehouses coming. We have 17 under construction with over 1 million square feet, and you can't get it. You can't get a space. Look what else is going on. Let me just talk to you about this. So these are jobs. These are big jobs coming in. We've got really big jobs. Let me tell you who else is here. You're going to be astounded because this is what's going on. We've got the Taiwan semiconductor plant. It started out to be a $12 billion facility. Now it's $65 billion of plants. And this is they're making more money than they know what to do with. It's the number one facility in the world. This is making the AI chips. And we were just ahead an announcement that another chip plant, another company, is going to start supporting the Taiwan semiconductors. And they announced the fact that they're going to put 8 chips plants in to support these chip plants. Now, look what else is going on here. A New York firm just purchased 2,000 acres around the plant, and they're going to make a tech park. And now Phoenix, Metro Phoenix, used to be a construction town. Not so much anymore. Now, that's what happened to us during the great financial crisis. We were building houses. We built like 65,000 houses in 2007. We had hundreds of thousands of workers, and then it stopped. All these people left, and it was just like a huge vacuum, and Phoenix collapsed. Remember, we were the poster child for bad real estate investments in the whole world. Not so now. Now we're a manufacturing company. We've got manufacturing like crazy. We're the number one manufacturing destination in the United States. It's just absolutely wonderful. We got transportation. We've got housing that's very affordable. We have very inexpensive. So most of my rentals, you're not going to believe this. Most of my rentals, the real estate taxes are from $1,200 to about $1,800 a year. We can make money on this stuff, and we've got good schools. We've got crime-free neighborhoods, and we have a governance here that actually wants your business. Very, very good for Phoenix. Just absolutely outstanding. Let me show you what else is going on here. You can take a look at this. Just crazy stuff. BNSF Railroad won the auction. Now they have 4,000 acres in Surprise. This is a railroad company. They're bringing in rail for transportation and distribution, and they're going to make it a multimodal plant, going to employ tens of thousands of people, and they're bringing in freight and rail, and they're going to start distributing from Arizona. They can go to Texas, they can go to New Mexico, they can go to Nevada, and it can still go back to California at 30%, 40% of what they're paying in California. Plus, your workers get a much better place to live. Look what else is going on. Kohler just opened up a $300 million plant in Casa Grande for the same reasons. Great manufacturing, great places for people to live, great workers. Look at this. Here's another one. Look at this. Nestle's just opened up 640,000 square feet right here in Phoenix. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. We've got the F-15s, or the F-35s. So the F-35 Air Force is here. F-35 planes, these are the most advanced jets in the world are located here in Phoenix. And because of that, we have to have all the defense contractors that support the F-35. And once they brought the F-35 wing here, brought in like $2 billion worth of additional revenue to Glendale. Things are just cooking here. What a great place to do business. We have in-migration of 50 to 80,000 people, and people can afford to buy a house here. This is why we are in that affordable housing space. I've been saying, though, that I'm a cycle guy. Never was. I am for the last, 10 years or so. It's truly amazing. If you really start thinking of, let me go through my research and let me just tell you what we see. Remember, when we're dealing with Charles Nenner, Charles Nenner would never say, this is why. He would say, I know what is going to happen, but I don't know why. And this just truly plays out because these cycles keep repeating over and over again. We're not sure why they're happening. We just know what is happening. And if you follow your time continuum and our signposts along the way, we get a pretty good idea when they're happening. And this is why I'm starting to get excited about this. So again, it's not ready, but I can see it. It's time to start getting your capital put together. It's time to start talking about financing, whether we're going to finance, how much we're going to finance, what kind of goals that you're looking for, what's your income goals. And remember, most of my clients are getting at least 10 grand a month. Most are getting 15 to 20,000. We have some people getting 35,000 a month plus. This is all passive income. It's all done. None of my investors, most of them have never even seen their properties. Certainly don't see their tenants, and they just get a check in the mail. This is just an income vehicle for them. Plus, you get growth. So if this works for you, you really need to start talking to us, because we're going to start looking at this. We need to do an onboarding. I'm sorry, the new rules have changed, so it's going to cost you $200-300 for you to spend an hour and a half with me, and but they're well worth it. Everybody comes away. If you're unhappy with it, I give you money back. We're not going to charge you. If you don't think we're worth it, we're not a good fit for each other, that's fine. It's not a problem. But we need to start thinking about this, because I can see on our charts that we're getting to the end, and I do want to. And if you want to get in with us, then you want to start seeing our proprietary stuff that we don't put out. So here's what's happening. Let me go to my next slide so you can see this. Let me open this up a little bit so you can wrong way, so you can see what's going on here. Now, on our charts, we still have this. So we see debt and capital destruction on a massive scale. Now, it's not going to be absolutely everywhere. It's going to be on certain sections of the country. I think Florida and Texas are going to they're going to take our place as the worst place, where the crown for bad in real estate investment. I think it's probably going to be Florida. Great long-term marketplaces, but they're way ahead of themselves. We got a little ahead of ourselves here in Arizona, but Arizona market is really one of the best in the world. We have plenty of water. I hear this all the time. You have to realize we have way more water. We have more water available to us now than we did in 1957. I mean, this is really hard to imagine, but that's just the case. And these chip manufacturing plants, they recycle all the water. So even though they're here, and keep in mind we have power. So now we've got all the rivers are dammed, giving us tremendous electricity. Plus, we had a Palo Verde nuclear power plant. So lots and lots of water, lots and lots of power. We're getting Microsoft just came here. They're going to build another data center. So it's just the sky is the limit here in Phoenix. But we've got this. Now, I'm telling you, we are here. We're really starting to roll over. Now, this is a cycle. There is no way I see Trump in power. He is going to be absolutely outstanding. Really, really good for business, but not yet. And here's the weird thing. We're going to have to go through some, there's going to be turmoil. He's talking about, dislocating people, closing down government departments, furloughing a lot of people. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs. This is going to be really tough on the economy, but then it's going to open up. And it's so odd is it opens up right into our cycle. So when we look at this, it's just another confirming guidepost as we go along, because it's going to happen and it's just going to explode. It's going to be very, very good for America. And of course, I think Phoenix will probably take the #1 spot again for investments in the United States, if not the whole world. So we get people from Australia and Europe and Japan. And my very first book sale was in Japan. That's so odd. They're coming here. And if you're in Japan, you probably want to start buying some of these things, protect your dollar. Same with our friends in Canada. So it's a great place. So let me go back to this. I'm getting past this. I'm going to tell you that we are going to come down this other side. Let me open this up a little bit. We are going to come down this other side right through here. We're probably somewhere, really, you're no longer at the top, because we actually have peaked and we're coming down. And this gets very vicious. It goes slow, goes very, very slow. Then all of a sudden it picks up speed and it just comes down. So I can see it on my charts, proprietary charts. I won't tell you now, but we have 4 entry points that are here. These are going to be great, great buying opportunities. But this is happening now. This is a property that we looked at as an example. Now, this is in one of our great markets in Surprise. This house is 1,600 square feet. There are 2 pools right in the HOA. These are single family homes. It's 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, about 1,600 square feet. You can walk to grade schools and middle schools from this property. It's right in Surprise, full of Air Force people and retired Air Force people. The neighborhoods are pristine, and you can see this. Now, this is Zillow, and there are some problems with Zillow because Zillow thinks that all houses are the same. They're not all the same. We all know that. And what they're doing is just taking a look at performance. But according to this peaked, here's 2022, later in 2022, probably right around Q4 of 2022. That's the same thing my models peaked. My models actually peaked in May of 2022, peaked. It wasn't really, it went red, and then we called a moratorium later on because we could see that it was starting to decline. Now, this peaked at $427,000. I'm going to tell you, now, this happens. We had what we call an institutional buyer, an iBuyer, purchased this property about 6 months ago for $369,000. They were going to flip it because it had been on. It had a peak of $427,000, and they could buy it for $369,000. And they went in and painted it and cleaned it and made it look real nice. 6 months has gone by, and they're unable to sell the property. They're fighting the cycle. This is what we've been telling all our clients. You cannot be doing flipping. You need to be very, very careful because the cycle is against you. Instead of having wind at your back, you get wind at your front, and this is going to be a problem. So this iBuyer, keep in mind that, when you're talking about an iBuyer, these are people who are used to dealing in institutional money. Not everything is the same. There is not a single family home they are all unique. They're not the same anywhere. This property peaked at $427,000. They came in 6 months ago, bought it for $369,000, fixed it up. Can't sell it. 6 months has gone by. It's now on the market at $361,000 and has not sold. So that's what, a $66,000 drop, something like that. It's pretty amazing that they've lost a lot of money. Plus whatever they put into it. Plus your holding costs. Plus. Holding costs, repair costs. Now they're going to have costs of sales. This is a real big loser for them. So right now it's on the market at $361,000. This is going to go for a lot less. This is just going to go for a lot less. And they are going to, this $66,000 below the peak is probably going to be, I'm going to guess, another 3, 4, 5%, and it's declining. So already it's down 15.4%. But when it sells, I'm expecting it's going to sell, somewhere down here. It's probably going to be 20% below peak. Now, remember, I said Phoenix is probably going to look at about a 15% pop, could go to 30. Well, this is already 15. So looks like it's going to go more than 15. Let me go to my next slide. Now, this is happening here. Now, we looked at this. This is starting to hit onto our radar. However, rents have also come down. So rents for this is going to be $1,700-1,800. So our cap rate is going to be 4.5% to 5.5%, acceptable. But I think we have more decline in front of us, so we just as soon keep our powder dry. But not a bad property, beautiful property. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, 1,650 square feet. Everybody loves the floor plan. Great schools, great transportation, great employment, great. It's just an absolutely perfect portfolio property. And we're thinking, it's getting to be tempting. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting pretty close. Let me go to the next slide and let's take a look at it. Now, here's another one. This is in our portfolio. We bought it for $315,000. And in June of 2022, it peaked at $510,000. Right there. Now, this is when our models went off. And we said we went on a moratorium. We've been on that moratorium for a long time. But it started, our models went red. And again, I'm going to tell you, kudos to Charles Nenner, because he's the one I've been working with him. Now, I shouldn't say working with him. I'm not working with him. I interviewed him for like 15 or 20 years when I was, writing for Wall Street. And, I talked with him for so long, I was able to emulate some of his work and went into my real estate work. And you could see that the cycle was saying it's getting close to the top, just getting close to the top. So we were very cautious. And then we had the signpost where, every month it was going up, 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 up every month. Then we hit a month where it didn't go up. Well, that's a red flag. So we said, we're going to stop here because maybe we've peaked. Because the thing is that we know that's coming. We just don't necessarily always know to the day when it's going to happen. But we were looking for it. And sure enough, it peaked. So let me go back to this slide and let me just tell you what's going on with this one. Now, we do a year-end review with our clients and tell them where their properties have gone. So we did really well. We still done very good. So this property is worth $420 to $435 right now. A big drop from the peak of $510,000, but way better than when we bought it. We bought it right down here, right in the early 2020, for $315,000. This was the accumulation phase, and then the explosive phase. You can just see it clear as a bell. And when they rolled over, and it's came down, and then it's peaked, and it's kind of been doing this. But I expect it's going to come back down, and it'll end up somewhere down here. Now, it will become a very good buy once it starts looking at. This is an absolutely stunning home. This is like 1,900 square foot. This was owned by a contractor, and he did all the finish himself. It was just a stunningly beautiful property. We paid $315,000. It has cash flowed like a champ ever since the day we bought it. This thing started cash flowing. So it's been an absolutely outstanding property. But you can see, again, at the same time, this is one of ours. We're going to hold this really for another 10 or 15 years because it just cash flows beautifully. It's right in a path of growth. This particular property is about 15 minutes to the Taiwan Semiconductor plant, right off the freeway. I mean, literally, be at a freeway in 6 or 7 minutes, and shopping is 10 minutes away. Great schools, great location, great growth potential. We have never had any trouble leasing the properties, and it's cash flowing like crazy. Why would you want to sell this now? When we buy these properties, we talk to our clients, and we ask, what is our goal? If it's to flip it, well, then we should have flipped it. This was not the goal on this. This was to create a portfolio of income producers. This is how you get wealth. So you buy a property like this that's going to continue growing. It's right in a path of growth. We get 50 to 80,000 people a month still every month. Not every month, I'm sorry, 50 to 80,000 a year coming here. That'd be a lot of people. A lot of these California, and of course, California's got so many problems. It has accelerated. It keeps pressure. So at the moment, we're slowing down, but that's a cyclical thing. We are going to pick up, and these properties are fabulous. So if you have 10 of these properties cash flowing, this property is going to cash flow an easy $1,800, $1,900 a month. Cash flow. That's after paying management, after escrowing and impounding for repairs, after HOA, taxes, insurance. It still cash flows around $1,800 a month. So if you had 10 of those, $18,000 a month cash flow. This is not unusual. You can easily do this. If you come and talk any of our seminars, we always talk about just 2. So even if you're like 50 or 60 years old and you just bought 2 of these, and we got them free and clear because we want to do accelerated balances here to get these loans off. I'm big on free and clear, but if you had just 2 of these, just 2, you're going to be talking about an extra $3,600 a month. That's $42,000 a year in income. Put that on top of your Social Security. Now you got something that you can live on. We'd like you to have at least 5 or 10. Once you start getting these, you are not going to want to get rid of them because they are just wonderful. I mean, these are fully managed. If something breaks, the management company takes care of it, and it's budgeted into your cash flow. So great properties, just really, really good properties. This is what we want. But when you're in business, you just have to understand that we're buying the income on this and the capital, so we're income investors, but we like to get the capital gain as well. Let me go to my next slide. Let's just, I want to wrap this up pretty soon. Oh, maybe I already wrapped it up. So if you need me, you know how to reach me. If you like my videos, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. We're not going to come after you. We're not going to try and sell you anything. But if you subscribe, it really makes gives us a great marketing boost. We are also starting to take names and numbers for people who might want to start getting involved with us, because it's coming. We have a buy point coming soon. We'd like to know who you are, what your goals are. It takes us a while, to get to know each other. An hour and a half going to cost you a couple, $200-$300 to sit and talk with us, but we'll go over. It's confidential. We'll talk to you about where you can go, what you can do, and how, make sure we're good fits, that you're good. I'll tell you, I'm a fiduciary, and I'm a certified real estate investment advisor. We talk about trustworthiness, transparency, and competence, and we are all of those. So if I can help you in any way, give me a call. 602-942-4200. My very best to you guys. Bye-bye now.